So, for anybody that isn't caught up with RimWorld and crap, I have been moving across the world, basically headed towards the landed ship quest for the past 2 years IRL. And about a year ago, for legit, like 1 year ago, we had an emergency move. And we abandoned a whole heap of stuff to move from Site 2 to 3. And we're pretty much getting set up to move Site 3 to 4 now. So I did end up committing to which place I want to go to. I am a little bit concerned that if I move and say RimWorld happens to bring out a DLC like it did with Anomaly, when they did that, they did a version update, and the version update is what broke my tile that we're on, Site 2. That's why we had to move. So my thoughts are, if we move and the tile breaks, that's just like horrible. Re-update its version, hell on saves. Yeah. See, I don't know how soon they'll do anything, because like I've heard mentions of a DLC, but I haven't seen anything anywhere. And this is around about the time that they did it, because this is around about the time last year when I moved. So that's just how I'm kind of like looking at it and stuff. In Steam, you can play the game on previous versions. Yeah, well, that was also part of the problem, because I didn't realize that mine had been stuck on 1.3. when we first started the game, we were on 1.3, and when 1.4 updated, my game didn't automatically update. I assumed I was playing on the most recent version. I just never checked. It wasn't important to me, but apparently I didn't have it set up to auto update, and that's my fault. But yeah, anyway, when 1.5 happened, I went from 1.3 to 1.5, which, yeah, you can see how that breaks it and shit. But I also don't know if this caravan is, I think, the one that's just come home. But anyway, so I kind of would like to avoid having it break at a new location, because I'd like to actually like build at said new location. But in the event that it fucks up, I do have backup locations. My only thing is that where we're going to move to is, okay, without picking exactly where it is, because I need to open a screenshot to do it. We're going up over here somewhere. Okay, somewhere between this river and that river, give or take, I think. Yeah, anyway, so we're between this line and that line. Okay, we're moving into this area, give or take. And so just for example, let's say that I want to move like here on this line. If I moved up to here and the game crashes and I have to move again, I've got a heap over here that I could move to. But the thing is, the one that I want to move to is over here. But I have got another one that's like over here somewhere. So like at worst, I could leapfrog to the next spot, but it wouldn't be the one that I want to be at, you know? And as you guys saw at this place, this was just kind of a bit of a nightmare to set this up when we had to do it in an emergency style. I would like to have a chance to set this place, like downpack this and set up a new place at the same time, like we do with Salvation to Quillen, 1 to 2. But yeah, we'll have to see how that goes. I'm hoping if I could get away with like, what's it? So you can refuse to update. Well, I'm thinking about it. Like, I don't think it's good for my game, because that's where we brought in like a whole shit ton of glitches, like the caravans unpacking or the caravans not leaving the tile and stuff like that. There was other stuff, like the doors. One thing you'll notice is you will never see me do this around my base, because it doesn't work. Everything can pass through that. That's a permanent glitch I've got. It's broken. Okay, stuff like that. But stuff like that's only come about since those updates and shit. So, but yeah, anyway, to a degree, I thought about like, I did consider that, freezing the version and being like, okay, well, you know, what I can do is play this until another update happens, but then I am risking a lot when that updates. But like, that would give us security and that would prevent anything. Like, it would allow us to be safe until like we can find somewhere else to go, because after this little area here, because that's the way we're gonna go, I have to find somewhere between that and here, because this is too far. I could just do it, but it's too far to travel. I want to settle between it, which means somewhere probably in here, right? Logistically speaking. And then we'd have like one final push and go and stuff. So as long as it could hold out till like we move, as long as I'm not settled on a tile when it updates, it doesn't seem to break it, I believe. I don't have much proof of that, but I think it doesn't break it as bad. So, yeah. Anyway, I probably will at least like turn off the auto updates so that I can be aware that it's happening. Because that way I can kind of like, I don't know. I can get most of the colony prepared to go, flick the switch, let them leave, and then go settle and stuff. You know, I have a higher rate of it if it's broken getting out and stuff. But anyway, we will have to see what happens in the future and shit. But yeah, I'm kind of excited for like the next area. That I've got like 2 places I want to go. One of them reminds me a lot of Salvation. I don't know, where is it? One reminds me a lot of this, and I think that's why I'm attracted to the map, is because I could see what I could do with it really easily. But I don't want to do that and then, like, you know how I flick through my stuff and then I look at it and it would look like I've gone back to the original one. I don't want that shit. That's why I've picked the other one. Plus the other one actually is overall better. In like the sense of building and supporting life, like this kind of thing, you know, so it would be better in that way. I love watching all my fucking animals like running home at night. It's great. But yeah, I would like to, by the end of tonight, have at least a caravan going out. And once I've woken up a little bit, I would like to get out my like screenshots of where I'm supposed to be going and stuff. The other thing too is we did a count of my colony and stuff. I can't tell you at the moment how many animals I've got. I didn't count that. That was not a priority. So we've got, or need, 263 beds. I don't actually have 263 at the moment, but I need 263. Plus, I've got 22 couples. So I need to have at least like 25-ish double beds. I made double beds everywhere with the view that, oh, when a person becomes a couple, they tend to just move into the bed. But I also have to allow for the fact that my colony may have probably 5 to 10 more relationships happen down the line. The other thing too is when couples break up, I have to kick them both out of that bed. So we have like double beds and stuff. So that's going to be a little bit of actual bed maintenance stuff, which I haven't really done since offline RimWorld. So yeah, I'm kind of, I don't mind that. I just got to remember to do it. As for like medical stuff, I think, what did I count up? How many have we got? Okay, it's 42 beds, actually. That's higher than I thought. I might not have calculated that right. I might have rounded it down. I got 42 times 2 medical beds. We got 84 and I listed 70. We might actually need 90 medical beds. I don't know. Fuck it. We should probably just have 100. I'll calculate my stuff for that later. But yeah, anyway, I should probably have about 90 beds because there's been at least one time when we had 113 people had the flu And we had people go into like their private beds and shit because we just didn't have enough. So that should be fine. I do think when I divide my colony in half, we're going to have 141, like up to 141 at each location kind of thing. So that's still going to be a little bit less than the raise we get. So here's hoping that's not a problem. So I also made some extra drop pod things, and I will be using these to send like more critical shit. I wanted to just see if I had any components at the moment. I want to kind of, I've got advanced components. The only problem with moving is making shit. So like I could send steel. I'm pretty sure. I will purple hair. Hold on. I'm pretty sure that I would be better off sending a bench. Hold on, I didn't see what your second redeem was. Lab. Alright. Where's my thing? There we go. Yeah, I might be better off sending a workbench and the materials to the next location and just letting them build the components, because I don't think I'm going to see that here. Because I'm constantly making components, but they're constantly being used. Like, look, I've got 25 partially made components. And as soon as one gets made, there is... Where was it? It's up here somewhere. There. Like, one's going to go all the way over there to fix that and shit. So, you know, it's going to disappear. It just keeps doing that in my colony. So I can't really ship components out. Their favorite combo. Yeah. No, I do like love. I just like when you guys like redeem combos and stuff like that. It makes me happy. Like I like when you guys like redeem like an outfit or a hair or Kitty Venus or whatever. But I also like when you guys like combine it and stuff. Like the cool thing is like if anybody redeems Kitty Venus, it upgrades me into a different outfit. And obviously the Kitty Venus form. So like I like that too, because like I was trying to think if I've done all the outfits or not on Keepies. I can't tell. I don't think I have. I worry sometimes that I hog it by redeeming purples often. No, you don't. Okay, the coffee tastes a little bit better now that it's cooled down. Maybe it was just a temperature thing. But if I make it purple and someone changes something that doesn't do it often, feel free to white purple. So I have a rule on my redeems, okay? I'm just gonna hover over like my prison and shit while I says. So with my like combination change hair, change outfit, change avatar form, right? If it has been redeemed, such as like purple hair, and somebody comes in and now redeems blonde hair, if it's too soon, I won't redeem the second one. I will let the person know that, hey, this has only been redeemed like X number of time ago. Do you mind just holding off and maybe try again later in stream or tomorrow? Something like that. With the view that at least the person that has saved up the channel points gets, at minimum, I think it's 20-30 minutes or whatever. If I had like a constant community of people redeeming stuff, I would minimize it down to about 20-30 minutes and just be like, yeah, no, that's fine. It's been like half an hour. We could change it and stuff. But I usually try to cap it at about an hour so that it's up for at least an hour, because like I don't mind having a whole rainbow of different colors throughout the stream. I'm cool with that. I like that. I like seeing the episodes where I start off as one, then I get like a slight change, then another change, and then something different at the end. And I'm like, it looks like 8 different videos, but it's all one stream, right? I just find it fun, you know? But yeah, no, before I even had my avatar, there was a streamer that I was watching. She's now pretty famous and stuff, and that's great. But at the time, I think she had her like outfits and stuff set to like scale up with her community, and she just had like a massive bump in obviously community and stuff. So her redeems were like 5,000 minimum and stuff, or 2,000 for like something that you couldn't even get to stay on for like 2 minutes. and stuff. I remember, like, I was pretty new to Twitch, and I liked listening to her, I liked watching her, and I liked playing the avatar and changing it and stuff. I found it very fun. So I spent a couple of days, I got the points. Like, you guys know me, I'm an active, like, watcher, right? So that's actual active watching of a stream for me. If I've got points, it's because I've been there. And so I finally got the redeem to be able to make her hair twin tails, which is, you know, 2 ponytails. And I was like, oh, this is so cool, because this is how I saw her when I found her. So I like to redeem it. I redeemed it, and as soon as I had redeemed it and she changed it, one of her regulars immediately changed it back to the hairstyle that she just had. And her community just kept doing that. Every time somebody changed it, they changed it back. And I felt like so like robbed of my points. And I just kind of like, I don't know. I just felt like it was kind of like a hostile dick move kind of thing. Because as a person, as a new person to her community, those points took me a while to like accrue, to be able to use. And then when I used them, I was really looking forward to seeing her hair swish around and you know, just to enjoy the animation kind of thing. And, you know, and then her community had just changed it straight back, and she'd obliged and stuff. And I don't know if, because at the time I did not know much about avatars and stuff, I don't know if she had it set up automatically to change. She could have, right? It could have just been one of those auto set toggles where you press something and your avatar changes for a couple of seconds or whatever, and it's linked. People do have that. It could be that. So she might have zero say in it. But just from like a new person in the community perspective, it felt really like a kick, like being kicked kind of thing. It just wasn't nice. And then of course, like, somebody else redeemed a redeem that cost 100,000 channel points to make her bald right after they changed it back to having like the shorter hair and shit, right? And they redeemed bald. It was a big channel point purchase, something that would have taken a bit of time to have acquired up kind of thing. And her community immediately changed it. Same person changed it straight back to short hair. And I was like, wow, that person, like, who knows, maybe they're a new person. They just spent 100,000 channel points to get that, like, just to toggle the thing, for the amusement of it. And it wasn't even up for 30 seconds because someone in her community just could not allow her to look any different than the way they want her to. I'm like, it's cool that they have so many points that they can just do this nonstop, but like, that's a bit shit, you know? That's when the streamer should step in and say, hey, I understand that you like this particular style, but this person has just, you know, dumped X amount of points, and they should really have the chance to enjoy this for a few minutes, you know? And then, you know, if it gets toggled later, then fine. It's a happily hails. No. Hey, Viking. What are you howling about? Some more pats. I got coffee. Is that what you're howling about, maybe? I assume it's the coffee. I made bad coffee. I wouldn't offer it. It's bad. What is it? People really like those bold redeems. I think they're ugly lol. In huge communities, they get so many change requests. It's a bit overwhelming and fast-paced. I do see that. That's why I'm like, obviously, like, after some time getting used to what streaming and VTubering is and stuff like that, I fully understand. But at the same time, from the perspective of somebody coming in, if somebody redeems something that's 10,000 points, I'm not going to change that in an hour's time. That doesn't apply to the same rule. Now, in the case of, like, say, if Atlantis redeems something, I know she has a shit ton of points, and I can refund her as long as I haven't accepted the redeem in, you know, the channel points redeem section thing. As long as I haven't accepted it, I can refund her points if somebody else changes the outfit after she changed it at the start of stream. Because she sometimes does that. She comes in and sometimes changes my outfit after I go live when she first arrives, with the view that just to remind and encourage people that, hey, you can actually change the avatar and you can play with my look and stuff like that and have some fun, if it hasn't happened for a while. Or if she just fucking feels like it. But then, on the flip side, if somebody else comes in, which this does happen, this happens quite a lot actually, is if somebody else comes in even before I've hit start and chatting and stuff, right, and they redeem something else, their redeem is overrode over my mods. Because she can redeem shit any day, and I can refund her points, but the person that's redeeming it may have spent a good amount of time trying to acquire those points and would really like to see, or maybe they need that today. I don't know, like change of outfit or something like that just brings them a little bit of happiness and they just needed to see that today, you know? And so I'd rather do that. Over Atlantis is the only one I've got, just because I know that like she does it for the fun of like encouraging my community to see that it's something you can do. But yeah, I wouldn't override somebody else in like chat if they did that. If I have had it before where somebody's redeemed something, because it doesn't show up the redeems when you join chat, I've had to say, hey, this has just been redeemed, come back, like please redeem it again later in a little bit. The other thing too is that I am supposed to change back from the redeems, but at the same time, only if I remember, and I only started doing it when I had a few people actually playing with it, I would change it back, because then it gave people a chance to change something on it. Like sometimes people would see it and they'd be like, oh, I don't know how long ago that got changed and I don't want to change it again. But I kind of stopped changing it back, mostly because stuff doesn't get redeemed too often, and also because it allows people to make combinations, which should be pretty interesting, because like normally if you change like one thing on an avatar, like I don't know how many other PNG tubers like change their like shit in combination with each other. Like it's usually not a compatibility thing. But yeah, I went extra with my fucking PNG tuber. I went like fucking double, triple extra with her. So much work. Lisa happily receives pat smiles, nods. No. Yeah, no. Look, with the ball toggle thing, I don't super like love it either, but I understand that there's like, I'm guessing there's a novelty in it having been probably a mistake initially, and people have just kind of like leaned into it. I have seen a couple that have been like purposely designed to have the ball toggle, and it's been done really well. But you've also got to remember that bald is also an actual feature on people IRL. So even though like you might be like, oh, you know, this pretty avatar and stuff like that looks really beautiful with this specific hair or whatever, you got to remember there are people out there that are either, you know, bald themselves, going through something, or, you know, have a preference for that, and, you know, or like to relate to it and stuff. So just being able to toggle that can sometimes just also be nice for some people to look at. But I won't be having a bald toggle in the exact same way I won't be having a short hair toggle. I will never have a short hair toggle. That's not something anybody will ever have for my avatar. I may have a like a longer hair toggle, because my character canonically does have up to floor length hair in some parts of my history and shit. So Like, that's the only thing that I kind of used to suspend belief with my character. Apart from, like, the whole magic stuff, obviously. But my character, like, I would make her hair longer for certain scenarios, certain things and stuff. But that's the only thing that I would mess with. And I only really felt that way about hair because my hair was, like, past my elbows. And, like, it would go anywhere from just above my elbows to just below my elbows. So I always just felt like whenever it had that extra like inch or two of hair, it felt so long. Like I would be laying in bed. If I was laying on my back on my hair, I couldn't sit up because most of it was under me and pulling against my motion of sitting upright. So like I felt like it was like a floor length hair and stuff. So for me, it's like, yeah, no, that makes sense, you know. But no, I won't have those. I also won't have like a lot of the other novelty shit that a lot of VTubers have got with their avatars because like they're just, I don't care. I don't mind it on other people's avatars. I just don't want it personally, you know, or I don't feel the need to have it. It's not something within like what my character is and stuff. I know she's me and I'm her and like she's my representation of myself and stuff in like 2D form and stuff, but at the same time, like I don't know, I kind of like know in a story sense who she is as well, and I know what kind of doesn't make sense, you know, for her. I'm waiting for whoever's pigging out to stop pigging out so we can send, I think this is a mining caravan going here because this that one's nearly there. Hold on. This one's going off to trade, and this one's coming home. We've got to mine. Wait, is this still out here? They are still out here. Hold on, I forgot about these people. I was supposed to be doing something extra with them, but we'll get them to cull their animals, and we'll bring them home. I knew there was something I forgot. I was looking around. You would have noticed I was looking around my base, and I'm like, what am I forgetting? It's this. This is what I forgot. Yeah, anyway. I was like, oh my god, the thing that turns me off of streams is when you raid in and the automod times you out for posting a raid message. I actually kind of find that funny from like, obviously an outside perspective, and that's horribly mean and stuff, but like, it is like a little bit funny because it's like, that community is obviously not welcoming and they tell you as soon as you step in their door kind of thing. And that's the kind of part that I find is funny is it's just like they just out themselves as soon as you walk in. But I understand from a streamer's perspective, it is a disgusting, horrible feeling to raid somebody and then have yourself or your community be treated like shit. I hate that. I hate it so fucking much. I hate taking my people somewhere and then the person just switches up and turns into like the most vile piece of shit person at them. And I'm just like, I feel like I need to make like a formal apology for my community when I raid to people like that. I have no control over it, over how that person chooses to react to being raided and my community people and stuff, but it's still a shit feeling to see them treated poorly because like, I always hope for the most welcoming and like enjoyable kind of relaxing experience and stuff, you know, for my community. So when I take somebody somewhere and I've like pre-vetted that stream and been like, okay, this person's always lovely and calm and the atmosphere is always really nice and stuff, I kind of expect that to be the case when I bring people in, you know? But everybody reacts differently. Like sometimes, like depending on the day, however I get rated, whenever I get rated and stuff, sometimes I like freeze up. Sometimes I'm a bit awkward. Sometimes I'm super fluid in like greetings and shit like that. It really just depends. And yeah, I don't know. I try to think of it like that. I try to get the benefit of the doubt, you know? I think I do that a lot with a lot of things. We taking the steel from here? That's marble. Is that steel? Hold on, marble. That is steel. Hold on. We've already like mined this place, so, and we've already done that. All right. So I need to, let me deconstruct it. There we go. We need to take that. I think I got somebody in my group that can do construction. I was out here for the wood and stuff, but I think I've got all my berries and I've got all the other stuff. I don't care too much for bringing home the extra wood. I will bring it later. But yeah, I'll just make sure that they hunt everything while we're here. What else? Some had the settings to like, you can't post long messages or you can't post a bunch of emotes in a row. It means very first thing I experienced coming into your stream is getting timed out. So I believe that that kind of information should be put in the, the chat rules that pop up when you enter or read somebody's chat. And it should be really high up for like somebody to see that, like, something like please don't post long messages or something. You also got to remember that different people react to stuff different ways. Like, for instance, I very recently learned that the fact that I take a long time to type a reply, and if it's anything more than a paragraph, some people respond to that as it being hostility. And I didn't know that, but apparently that's a thing on the internet. I didn't know because I'm just not that versed in that kind of stuff. So for instance, like a person might struggle to focus on a big paragraph, especially if they're playing a game. Some people might have conditions that, make it challenging and stuff. Other people could just be that, like, yeah, they don't want to read, like too long, didn't read kind of thing, It could be anything. So when people have got like stuff set up for their stream, you've got to remember it's for the streamer's comfort, so that they can feel comfortable doing what they're doing without being overwhelmed or whatever when they stream. A colonist needs rescue. Is it Sasha? No, Octopus. Who the fuck? Tyran. Tyran, mate, you're a medic. Can you go rescue Octopus, please? Rescued by Lumi. Hold on. Ah, he's gone.